All right, I am back for part 2. Hi guys. We still have a huge mountain of messages left. This is insane. I don't think I've ever pulled this many. Well, let's get started. Okay, if you are curious about any of these images, cute little chihuahua. We've got a little bird with thankfulness, the angel of guidance. If you're curious about any of this, it's over on part 1. But let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. And actually, I think I'll leave these here. All right, so we have the seahorse spirit. Create the unexpected. Like, you do it. You know how they say expect the unexpected? No. Create it. You do it. You be the catalyst. Create the unexpected. Shock everybody. And I know this sounds silly because this has nothing to do with love, but I always associate seahorses with like soulmate energy, and you usually see them depicted in pairs. I'm going to go ahead and assign this towards like romance, love, some kind of connection that might be weighing on your heart and mind right now, or that you might be involved with right now. But let's read about the seahorse spirit. But create the unexpected. Don't just sit around and wait for the unexpected. You be the catalyst. You be the one taking action, making things happen in your life. I mean, how boring to sit around and just wait on other people. That's like outsourcing your power, you know? Okay, so the seahorse spirit. Here's your affirmation. I love making people laugh, and I find new, joyful ways to infuse laughter into the little moments of my life. And that's so funny because I didn't say it, but I was remembering how seahorses greet each other every morning with like a little dance, I guess. I think I read that somewhere, I don't know, or saw a reel or something. I love making people laugh, and I find new, joyful ways to infuse laughter into the little moments of my life. And it says, surprise yourself and others. Do the opposite of what you normally do. Be daring and funny. Evoke laughter. Discover a new version of yourself. Shake or spice things up. And here's your message. The seahorse spirit finds you now as you are ready to hear the quiet, subtle messages encoded in the spirit of this tiny, refined being. The time has come to shift the paradigm of your existence. What you are made of is a culmination of many intricate messages spun together into the neuronic skeleton that makes up your brain and all that you believe to be true. If you want to be set free, play with changing the circuits. Put things where they haven't been connected before and see what happens. Shake or spice things up, creating the unusual and unexpected so you can create a new spark in your life. The female seahorse does this when she implants her eggs into the male so he can become pregnant and carry the baby seahorses. Okay. Interesting. And it also has a listed like little ritual. I guess I can read that, and if it helps somebody, it helps somebody. So it says Sacred Sea Ritual. The ritual will allow you to swim deeper into uncharted territory. Play some relaxing music and lie down. As you fall into a deeply relaxed state, allow yourself to visualize absurd combinations of different options for your reality. This will open your mind and spirit so it can expand into the vastness of what is possible, as you will often get stuck in your life because you have forgotten how to do this. Play for a while in an imaginary game of daydreaming up new funny concoctions of words and visuals. What would it be like for you to show up to an event wearing something ridiculous just to get a laugh out of friends? What would it be like to surprise your partner with a splash of water or a water balloon falling from above on them? What could your life be like if you were to take the initiative to do something completely playful and out of your comfort zone and normal character? What could your new character be like? How could this add more fun and laughter to different parts of your life? When you get some good ones that spark resonance with your soul, write them down and create a plan of action so you can implement them and spice up your life. Or don't plan, just wing it, go off the cuff. That's what I do. I don't think things through usually. I just act. It's pretty crazy. Okay, and then we have why. Why? And it's got the number 31. Oh, whoa, they're both numbered 31. Interesting. So 31 reduces to 4, stability, security, but we have 4, 4, I guess. But this is all about questions and being curious. So maybe being playful and curious combined is a message for somebody. Why? But I was feeling like this needed to be tied to, like, because we have love messages coming up next. And I just create the unexpected. Maybe there's something in a romantic connection and you have questions and you don't have clarity, you don't have answers. You've been left without closure and you've been left wondering why. And maybe this somehow goes hand in hand with that. And it really isn't up to the other person to soothe your soul or calm your spirit. It's up to you to train your brain, create, get your emotions in line, train your brain to make new neural connections. Yeah, we can train our brains to neuroplasticity. You can literally retrain your brain just simply by setting an alarm on your phone every hour and with an affirmation, or even writing. Writing is super powerful. I am statements. There's so much knowledge out there surrounding this, but maybe somebody has been left with a lot of questions in regards to being left alone or abandoned, or because it's just a singular seahorse here. But let's go ahead and move into these soulmate these soulmate cards. You are loved more than you consciously know. Share your insecurities with the one you love. You will be surprised and reassured by their reaction. Love is all around you. Okay, so if you do have questions surrounding a connection, and maybe y'all are on good terms and you know there is an open door for communication, then this card is speaking to the insecurities, the wounds. Maybe even she's like, kind of looks like a little girl to me, like maybe you have inner child wounds that have come to the surface, and I don't know, you'll have to decide, but maybe your person is a safe person to go to and just communicate openly with and share your insecurities. It might surprise you. Interesting. And that might be some different way that you normally wouldn't act. And then we have life is constantly changing, yet at its core it remains the same. Love does not change. It only grows stronger. Change is simply love unfolding. Let me read that again. The dogs are going bonkers. Life is constantly changing, yet at its core it remains the same. Love does not change. It only grows stronger. Change is simply love unfolding. Its never-ending story. Oh, I love that movie. Never-ending story. Atreyu. It's a movie from the 80s, kids. So if you haven't seen it, you've got to watch it. It's a classic. All right, we have this is a favorable time for matters of the heart. A time of inspiration and healing. A relationship blossoms. Your heartfelt aspirations now manifest lovingly into reality. Your heartfelt aspirations manifest lovingly into reality. Okay, it's a favorable time for matters of the heart. This is saying go ahead and communicate your insecurities if you're feeling like you're left with questions and you're wondering what happened, why. Like if you have questions in regards to maybe a soulmate connection or just a romantic connection in general, and this is saying now is a good time to express your heart safely and not to be afraid of change. It's just, change is constant, right? Okay. Aligning heart and mind with the Kunzite here. Reciprocated love, deeper experience. Okay, if this is you and you're feeling separated and alone, and maybe once you have this heartfelt conversation, you guys get in alignment with one another, with your goals, with your expectations, with whatever. After this conversation, it promotes just facilitates healing and promotes a deeper connection. And maybe going forward, things will be not all the weight on you to carry this connection emotionally. Maybe there'll be a reciprocation. And if there's not, I say fuck them. Reciprocation is such a core main thing. Turquoise, overcoming challenges, pure intentions, friends first. Okay. What jumped out at me here was the pure intentions, because it's like your heartfelt aspirations manifest into reality. If your heart is pure and you have good intentions, you're going to see the fruits of your labor. Citrine, forgiving easily, protecting your heart, an abundance of love. Maybe staying silent and not coming forward with questions is your way of protecting your heart, because you're afraid of, I don't know, maybe fear is holding you back from expressing yourself. But what I say to that is just say what you mean what you say, be who you are, and the ones who matter won't walk away. They'll hold your heart carefully and seek to understand. And maybe love in the past has taught you otherwise, but really go within and really ask yourself if this person is safe to approach with your innermost thoughts and feelings, with your heart. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. Okay? Take back control of your life. What does that look like for you? Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. And again, everybody's different. This is, this is going to vary for each viewer. So really, this is asking you to go within and look at places where you feel minimized or maybe handicapped emotionally, or you don't feel free to express yourself fully. Ask yourself, why is that? Is that something within me? Is there a fear, like a long ago buried fear, or is this other person not a safe person to express? Just ask yourself all the questions, and you'll know. Your gut will know. Your intuition will know who's safe, who's not safe to share. And even if you make a mistake, let's say you make a mistake and you share your heart and you just lay it all out there and you get vulnerable with the wrong, quote unquote, the wrong person. So what? It shows you more about them than you. At least you were true to yourself and you put your heart on the line and expressed it and didn't suppress and hold back and literally poison yourself, because when we hold our feelings in, that manifests in like physical ailments. So and it was good practice. If it was the wrong person, it's still good practice, opening your heart and sharing what's on your heart and speaking your truth. When it comes to matters of the heart, there's no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. Exactly what I was just saying. It's good practice. It's nothing is ever wasted. Even if it's the wrong person or a connection that isn't meant to be or whatever, it expands your understanding of life and love. And it really, you don't walk away empty-handed. Even if you feel rejected or feel like you missed out on the one or whatever, sorry, I don't mean to minimize it. I just mean just make the effort. If you have fear trying to hold you back, free yourself from fear, make the effort, speak up about what's on your heart, and get the clarity. Ask for clarity. And if somebody can't give you clarity, give it to yourself, create your own magic. And we have emotions are a natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment. Maybe that's what's tying somebody up. Maybe there's some kind of resentment or some kind of forgiveness that needs to be given. Now, forgiveness, I loved giving this analogy. Imagine yourself handcuffed to another person, and you hold the key in one hand and you're handcuffed to them in your other hand, and you can't function, you can't move, you can't operate like you want to, or like you're created to. Your body's created to move, and you know what I mean? And when you're handcuffed to another person, you can't operate your fullest capacity. So you take that key in your free hand because it's up to you. It's your choice to forgive and just free yourself from them and just let them scurry off and go face their own karma and their own consequences to their choices, and you free yourself. Unhook yourself from them and from, unforgiveness keeps you tied and stuck to someone who's hurt you. And you really want to free yourself from that energy. And it frees them to go face their actual consequences for their choices. All right. Close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to feel joyful. You can allow joy into your life regardless of your circumstances you currently find yourself in. Huge, huge believer in this. Close your eyes and tell yourself you deserve to feel happy and joyful. It doesn't matter what you're going through. You can still find joy, happiness, feel good. Your circumstances aren't going to last forever. They don't define who you are. Everything, there's a solution for everything. You can always get creative and find a workaround, or, it's just, I don't know. I was going to say, it's just, I think a big problem with that is when people focus on making everybody happy, then there's no solution when you're trying to make everybody happy, because it's not possible to make everybody happy. But you have to be true to your own heart, be true to yourself, and put yourself first, like we talked about in part 1. My presence is my power. Today I show up for me. That is your only job. Show up for you. Fill your own cup. Make choices that are in alignment with your truth. And then from there, you overflow and pour out goodness and kindness and love, and everything just flows when you take care of you. And it's not selfish. I was raised to think it was selfish, I won't get into how I was raised, but yeah. All right, flexible. You may have someone in mind, but your spirit guides want you to know that there are better options for you. This card also pertains to release any unrealistic... My tongue is tied. What? Oh, maybe you are having a difficulty speaking to this person. It says, whoever you have in mind, your guides want you to know they have someone better for you. This card also pertains to release any unrealistic expectations on a relationship or a person. So free yourself. Free yourself from putting expectations on anyone else. And it's not really about the person. It's about yourself. Are you living from a place of realness, authenticity? I hate to say, authenticity is thrown around so much, but I love that. I love authenticity. Are you being true to yourself? Or are you abandoning yourself in hopes of attaching yourself to another person because of how they made you feel in the first 5 minutes you met them? You know what I mean? Or the first 2 months that you've connected with them. Free yourself and be open to the possibility that maybe there's someone better out there that you haven't met yet. You don't know. There's still so much life to be lived. Healing. Yeah. So there's definitely a message here of releasing yourself from an attachment to another person and trusting that that your guides have your back, and you're not going to miss out on anything that's meant for you. And with healing, you are in a phase of healing your heart. This can be from a current event or any old emotional pattern that needs to be released. This is a time for self-care. Divorce, experiencing a breakup. Okay, so maybe this is applying to someone out there who's going through separation, a breakup, divorce. I guess I can talk about divorce for a second. I went through a 4-year high conflict, crazy, massive divorce from a sociopath with money. His parents were multi-millionaires. So imagine bottomless pockets with sociopathic people, wanting to inflict as much pain and control on you as possible. You know what I mean? Through the kids, no real care, concern for the children, is using them as pawns. My daughter had emergency brain, she had a seizure at 10 years old, and I hop in the ambulance, call my ex-husband. We're in the middle of our divorce, right? Called him, said, Victoria, I was explaining what happened. Meet me at the children's hospital. I'm at work. Don't call me again. I'm like, what? Your literal daughter has almost died. She's having her skull's getting cut into right now. Okay. Enjoy your day at work. And then I get greeted at the hospital by social workers because he he looked at that as how can I use this to my advantage, that my 10-year-old daughter is having emergency brain surgery. And then they were so nice to me, though. They were like, we're so sorry. We've already talked to all the doctors. I mean, this was like a few days in, but they pulled me into a little office at the hospital. And like, we already know, we've talked to, because she had like a infectious disease doctor, a neurosurgeon. She had a team of like 5 different doctors for different specialties. We were in the children's hospital for over a month. And her dad only like came once to see her, and he knelt down and looked her in the eye when she's in her wheelchair. And he's like, your mom did this to you. Like, who says that? Like, what is wrong with you, sir? But anyway, the social workers were like, we know that you did not do this to your daughter. We know that we've already talked to all the doctors. This has nothing to do with neglect or you being an unfit mother. We're so sorry we even have to like sit in this room with you and talk to you. But they closed the case immediately. But I'm just saying, like, there are really shitty people out there that it's just life, or divorces aren't always that ugly either. But in my case, it was bad. Like, I lived through 10 years of severe physical, psychological, like, abuse on every level. Just one extreme example I can give was, he came home from the casino. He had lost like 20 grand or something in a game. He thought he was going to be a World Series poker player, right? So that was what he did. He would always, I didn't know if or when he would come home. And sometimes he would fly to Vegas, and I thought he was at work and he'd be in Vegas. But we had a casino near our town, and he would always go there after work. But one time he lost a bunch of money, came home, walked in the door, like started screaming at me. And I'm just like, I knew at this point, 10 years being married to him, like how to like handle him. I remember being on the phone to like Women's Crisis, and they were like, you're in a red flag situation, get out. And that was 4 years before I left him. I was like, no, I know how to handle him. It's okay. I know how to survive in this environment. But anyway, he chased me. I started yelling about losing money or something. And then I grabbed my daughter. I think she was like a year old at the time, or 15 months old. I don't know. I was 9 months pregnant with my son, and my younger son, and ran to the bathroom, and like, I'm in the bathroom, locked in the bathroom with my other kids, and I'm holding the door closed even though it was locked, because he used to like unscrew the doorknob and like get in there and just start wailing on me. But bullets started flying over my head. Long story short, he literally shot a gun at me, and I was such a not brainwashed, but like a typical textbook domestic violence victim. That was me for 10 years, for my 20s. But I was grateful that he was never home. It was just when he was home, it was hell. But I was grateful to be able to be a stay-at-home mom and like raise my kids and pour into them in their formative years. But there was that major unsafe, toxic environment that I ignored because I thought divorce was so bad. My dad called me when he heard I was teamed up with Women's Crisis to find like a shelter they could hide us in, so we could hide and file a restraining order. And he said, don't come knocking on my door for help. Like, God hates divorce. You're going to burn in hell. I was like, yeah, Dad, I know. I don't even know why. I think I answered the phone. I didn't reach out to him, but he called me. It's like, I hear you're leaving your husband, and I just want you to know that how disappointed I am in you, and you're a disgrace to our family name, and you're going to burn in hell. I was like, yeah, I know. I won't be, don't come knock on my door for help. I'm like, understood. When have I ever asked you for a thing in my life ever? Me and your 3 little grandkids, who were 4, 7, and 9 at the time, we will be, reaching out to the state for help, Women's Crisis for domestic violence victims. Anyway, so I got out of that situation, but it was 10 years of hell. Well, 7 years of hell, because I left before. And then we had like 4 years of divorce court stuff. But, gosh, I didn't mean to go on that tangent. Divorce, even with all that I was severely neglected. Like, I was never there. And people have asked me like, well, surely there were good times. I'm like, no, on our honeymoon, on our little honeymoon, he told me he wished he'd never married me. When we get home, we're going to get it annulled. Crazy. But anyway, so God hates divorce is what I grew up being told, and that the wife should submit to her husband and be his servant. Basically, my existence, the reason for my existence was to serve others. And so that's why I'm saying it's not selfish to heal. It's not selfish to put yourself first. It's not selfish for you to fill your own cup and make sure that you are the only one responsible for your emotional needs, your physical need. Like, I know people say hyper independence is toxic, but you know what? No one's going to take care of you but you. Like, if other people choose to take care of you, you can allow that and be grateful and thankful and gracious. But it's really not anyone else's responsibility to take care of your needs as a human being. Make sure that you're good and that you come from a place of strength so that you can be, if you choose to be, if you feel in your heart and you want to be of service to others because it's on your heart, not because you're guilted into it or brainwashed or told you're going to go to hell for if you're not serving enough or, anyway. But everything comes back to knowing who you are, knowing your identity, and knowing when your battery's low, knowing what you need to kind of equal out when you're off kilter. I've caught myself even very recently feeling emotionally just like I got like blindsided recently, and I just had to like go within and ask myself, okay, Susanna, what do you need? Okay, this is what happened. Why do you feel this way? What in your childhood mirrors this? And what could you give to your younger version, and what can you give to yourself today to, heal from this and move forward with confidence and learn from it. And I always look for a lesson in everything. Anyway, divorce. It's never, ever, ever an easy thing. And for people probably look at me like, why did you stay? Or they try to like shame the victim, the domestic violence victim. Like, well, you stayed or whatever. And it's like, that's such a shitty thing to say to someone who survived hell. Like, come on, man, have some compassion. Like, people just get in situations there are a million reasons, in my scenario, it was religious shame, programming, and my own childhood trauma of being a people pleaser and not wanting to let others down, or my identity was tied up in how good of a wife I was. I would literally like pray over my husband in his sleep, put my hands on him and like pray over him and ask God to like heal our marriage and turn his heart towards him. I have like a box. I still have like a box of like self-help books for how to be a godly wife and serve your husband. And anyway, my point being, there's a lot of reasons. Divorce is so tricky, and it's such a shame trigger. It's a shame point, and it shouldn't be, because there are people grow apart, people change. I have good friends that I went to high school with who've been together for 30 years, and they're doing what's called conscious uncoupling because, they love each other. They have a history. My friend was like, what do I do with all our things? And she was like, it's so sad. And I'm like, you're not throwing it in the trash. I go, think of it as retiring all these memories into like the Hall of Fame. 30 years of history is not nothing. Like, that's not something you just delete. You don't hit the delete button on it. You honor it. Even though you're both choosing to not move forward in life together, it doesn't mean you don't still have love for each other as human beings, and you've both raised kids together and endured so much in life. And I don't want to like go into more details about their life, but like the point being, like, not all divorces are not all marriages are abusive, and there are some where people just, you get married before your brain's even fully developed, right out of high school. And my son's girlfriend or ex, she broke up with him, and like 2 days later posted a picture in a swimming pool, some other dude, and then she just married him the other day, like a week ago or something. But I was like, yeah, that's not going to end well. I mean, maybe I'm pessimistic, but because there are high school sweethearts who still to this day, I guess, but you work through, it's the willingness to work through your issues and to grow together. But oftentimes there's no shame in it if you just if you both acknowledge like, okay, maybe we're better off like being a support to each other on a friendship, on like an honoring level of like, we've been through so much in life. Like, we have this history, you know what I mean? And if you're watching and if you're in that situation, you know exactly what I'm trying to say. And then there are other scenarios like my own where it was just pure hell, and I got out with my fucking life, and my kids are alive and I'm alive, and the abuse didn't stop there. Then he used the courts and we'd get random. To this day, when somebody knocks on our door, me and my kids still panic. Like it's like PTSD from people knocking on our doors, because he would call CPS on us all the time just to make life hell for me. I don't know. Anyway, he was constantly. So even, thank God my kids are grown and I never have to deal with him again. But there are people like that, where you find yourself having a family, getting married, finding yourself in a really, really unhealthy, unsafe situation. And then there are marriages that aren't actually like unsafe, but they're not healthy, or they're not modeling true connection to your kids. And those kids will grow up saying, I never want to get married. Why would I get married? Not because their parents fought or hurt each other, but because it was just like modeled a roommate situation, or there's no love, or it's just like, what's the point? And I have friends to this day who won't get married because they were raised seeing their parents just tolerate one another. So, but there is a lot of shame around divorce. So if this is you, if you are going through a separation, a breakup, or divorce, I want you to know that it's not what you're feeling right now it's not a forever feeling. It sucks. And it feels like you can't see 2 feet in front of you right now. And it feels like the walls are caving in on you and you can't breathe at times. But you will get through it. Life is just going to be rearranged. If you have kids, it's just going to look different. And you might even find yourself like enjoying the new, if you are going through a divorce, and you're both healthy people, it's actually nice to team up and take care of the kids, but be in your own safe space and have your own peaceful environment where you each can have your own relationship with your kids. And a lot of times the kids come out much happier in that way. But yeah, sorry, I don't know what I was thinking about. I was thinking about my own kids. I didn't realize there was more abuse after my divorce, but I remember when they were little, and they would come back from time with their dad and tell me all the awful things. And I said, I don't want to hear it. Your time with your dad is your time with your dad, and he's responsible for his relationship with you. And when you're with mom, we're with mom, and we're going to make our own memories, and we're going to choose joy and happiness. And but I guess with abusive people, I regret saying that, because I didn't know there was more abuse happening at when they would go to his house. But that's really a specific situation. But for normal, healthy people who choose to just, we're not happy, let's be happy. Let's figure out how we can be happy and work together on making sure everybody's happiness and health is a priority, and go their separate ways and work together to make sure their kids are happy. That's different. But it does give you more freedom to give yourself what you need to meet your needs. And then in turn, that also strengthens you to be a better parent as well. Date night. Speaking of, it does free up a little bit of time for your hobbies, your interests, maybe even dating post divorce, because life does get beautiful again. I think I saw another card that was like a date night in here. Yeah, this one. Look at that. Almost identical cards. Yeah, love is not lost. It's not dead. You're not destined to a life of misery, stuck in a marriage where everybody's unhappy, and it's just, there's no hope for reviving it. I mean, I'm a huge proponent, I'm like a huge supporter of like, do everything you can to make it work. But sometimes nobody wants to try anymore. Sometimes it is what it is. But it does get beautiful. You can take steps out of a situation, because that doesn't define who you are. That's where I was going. Your circumstances don't define who you are. But life will get beautiful again. If you see yourself right now going through a divorce, breakup, separation, or if you're just single and you feel lonely, just feel what you need to feel. Put yourself out there when you're ready, when it feels healthy. If you have kids, obviously I wouldn't recommend introducing them to anybody, until they're well acclimated to the new dynamics of separation and separate homes. And but eventually, in time, you will have opportunities to find someone who just gets you, and there's this connection. I mean, I remember thinking I was doomed to just live my life because I didn't believe in divorce. So I was like, that's not an option. I endured so much abuse too, like so much. I'm not going to go into all of it, but it was relentless. And I stayed. Whenever I wanted to leave him, I would look up focusonthefamily.com. It's a Christian website about like families, Christian families, and how divorce hurts the kids. And so I stayed for the kids, and I regret doing that because I kept them in an unsafe situation because of religious shame or societal shame, and on the outside, I had Facebook at the time. I projected this image of stay-at-home mom and little parties that I'd throw and park dates and play dates. And, we lived at the end of our little cul-de-sac and had our cute house and our Volvo SUV, and life looked pretty damn pretty from the outside looking in, but it was hell behind closed doors. Literally lucky I got out alive. And that is not a way, that's not staying for the kids. That's crazy. Anyway, but I got to think back to old me and like with compassion also. But I'm just saying, staying for the kids is a lie. Don't do that because they're smart. They're smart. I remember my daughter was like 5 years old, and whenever we went through this tunnel in Portland on the way to the zoo, it was like a really long like tunnel. I'm like, okay, everybody hold your breath, make a wish. And we'd hold our breath and I'd lean on the horn through the tunnel. And then, okay, let out your breath at the end of the tunnel. And my daughter's like, Mommy, I wish for a good man to love you someday. Not a bad man like Daddy, not one who will hurt you. And I was like, oh, I thought I hit it. I thought I did a good job of like managing their perception of, we love Daddy. Like, so kids know, they know. Plus, I mean, they did see all the abuse as well, but commitment. Things are getting serious. So if you are dating after a time of heartbreak or divorce or separation, there could be, somebody could be getting proposed to. Ooh, things are getting serious. We have little wedding rings here. Commitment. Ooh la la. Okay. Congratulations if that's you. I'm sure you feel it energetically that it's coming if it is you. That's so sweet. Oh, I was actually thinking about my wedding the other day, and I don't know, I woke up, I want to say like 3 or 4 days ago, I woke up with like vivid memories of it. I was thinking about, all this. I found the cutest little church in the country with a big tall steeple, and it maybe held 100 people, and our wedding was maxed out because he and I went to Christian school together. Like everybody knew both our families, but, and my friend's sisters played the violin for us. Anyway, and I was thinking about, and how our song, like when we walked down the aisle, didn't play. And so I started singing it. Like it was awkward. We're standing up there and like the music wasn't playing for us to like, after we said our vows. I belted out singing the words and grabbed him and dragged him out of the church. And then our honeymoon was in Lake Tahoe. And I was thinking about how everything was just not good and how he didn't give me any money or a room key. I remember sitting just in the hallway outside our locked room while he played poker. And I was pregnant at the time with my daughter, or like on our little yacht boat thing where he was drinking Long Island's and telling me how he wished he never married me on our honeymoon. But, and I'm not saying this to say poor me, but I was thinking about all these things the other day, and I was just like, you know what? And I don't know why I had such like love in my heart for, maybe love is too strong a word. I don't know. But like I had this like feeling of just like release, forgiveness. There it is. The word is forgiveness. I said it out loud. I'm like, I forgive you. And I named my ex-husband. I named his mom, his sister. Because his sister, I handed her my camera before I walked down the aisle because I was taking pictures with my bridesmaids and girls that I grew up with since I was a little girl. Like all these pictures from my wedding, and she lost the camera. So no wedding photos, but they were just really nasty. My in-laws, my sister-in-laws and my mother-in-law, they were like the epitome of like mean girl culture. But that's okay. That's their choice to be that way, and they have their own life lessons. And I did. I literally like said it out loud. I forgive you. I thought of the camera thing, how she just happened to just misplace my camera that had all the pictures. I said, I forgive you for that. And I got so specific. I was so weird. I just woke up with these vivid memories of my shitty wedding and my shitty honeymoon, my shitty marriage. And I just had this moment of like true forgiveness. And I'm getting like teary eyed right now, but like true forgiveness. And I just released it all. And yeah, anyway, I know I'm crying. Then we have fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag. So this could be a fire sign that you could be a fire sign that you are leveling up your level of commitment with somebody you just, and you want to just do life with someone and they feel safe and your nervous system regulates when you're around them. They say like soulmates, when you give eye contact or hear their voice, it's like instantaneous and. So I hope somebody watching has that experience and is committing to someone who is safe and is reciprocal and kind and loving, and you both fill each other's cups. I mean, yeah, it's your responsibility. Ultimately, you're responsible for your own like emotional well-being, and it's a bonus to have someone in your life to walk through. But sometimes I picture like a relationship someday that I'll find someone who will be able to pour into me as much as I pour into them. And like when my battery's low and theirs is filled, like we just kind of offset each other. You know what I mean? Like just teamwork. It sounds so cheesy, but a team, like being literally like ride or die type energy. Success. Okay. So if this is you and you've been through hell and back, had a past divorce, breakup, whatever, you've had past experiences regarding your heart and love, and maybe there's some fear creeping in because the commitment is like the stakes are high now, it's leveling up, and maybe that triggers some fears from your past. Just rest assured that this is a true connection where you're going to like light each other's spark. You ever seen those candle reels where like a candle isn't, oh gosh, I don't know, where like one's burning low. It just takes a little tiny spark and you both are just a light. So just being a strength for one another and not putting all the weight, all the burden on one end of the partnership. This is really reciprocal, equal. Look at the symmetry in this. It's just so equal. If you were to like, it's like a mirror image. If you draw a line down the center of this card, I guess without the lanterns, it's ignore the tree with the lanterns. So like the candles, the wine, the flower petals, the chairs, like it's just equal, give and take, pouring into one another. Let's see, what character quality does your person have? Oh, wow, we have the climber. Oh, yeah, I remember this came out. I always get this card. So your person could be very ambitious and driven and goal-oriented. They're just like linear in their thinking, maybe, like just straight line. Look at this guy. He doesn't even have any lines or, the little like the ropes and pulleys. I went rock climbing when I was like 18. I loved it. I loved rappelling. It was like a group. I went on a mission trip to Mexico and with like my youth group, and we all went rock climbing to like bond before going to Mexico. We did a bunch of trips like that, but that was so fun. But your person could be, it says he'll scale mountains, but forget your birthday. So maybe he's really good at being focused on being a provider or being direct or like just goal oriented, like getting it done. But then the little details make it lost, or he's not so great. He or she, maybe they're not so great at, just remembering little things. And you can gently remind them and be like, I don't know, don't listen to me, I guess, but like there's ways to communicate to one another where you're like, listen, I love this about you. I love it. But I don't know. I don't know how you would say it, but just communicate your needs, your wants, your needs, your desires. And having that open line of communication is so fucking healthy. And it's actually it's like the lifeline of a relationship is having open like feeling safe to come to one another and just share what the fuck ever, like on any topic, on anything, without feeling like you're going to get retaliated against, or, you know, just feeling safe. That level of safety is so, at least for me, that's like foundational. We have our narwhal. Rest. I take a step away from my stress. And this is how a partnership, healthy partnership, you should feel safe like this, to rest. Your home should be your haven of peace, where you go to recharge from the world after being drained out working with the public or working with whatever your life looks like. Home base should be where you go to recharge, rest up, to heal, to be supported, you know what I mean? It should be your safe place. So this is directly in line with what I was speaking about with safety. I take a step away from my stress, and then a deep breath. And then a crankiness-killing nap. When I get the rest I need, I instantly become a better version of myself, able to navigate complex relationships in a single bound. When I don't, I'm not, which means I shouldn't. But I try to, and then we can't. And it doesn't, but I did, so it wasn't. Good night. So the author of these cards, I'm not like a super big fan of these cards. I don't use this deck too often, but the key point here is rest, relaxation, home being a place of peace, getting your needs met, you meeting your own needs, having that open line of communication. That I do see just success for someone here with relationship. Oh, let me read about the climber real quick. Okay, so ambitious and daring, he'll scale mountains but forgets your birthday. And it says the climber is ambitious, daring, and always focused on his next big challenge. He inspires you to push boundaries and to reach new heights. I love that, like inspiring each other to reach more, or maybe playful competitiveness, you know, with one another. I love that. However, his eyes are so fixed on the summit that he can miss the smaller, meaningful moments that matter to you. What he represents. This card represents ambition, determination, and perseverance. The climber shows you the power of pursuing your dreams, but also warns that ambition can sometimes overshadow the importance of being present. And then here's some questions for reflection. Are you inspired by his drive, or do you feel forgotten? Does his ambition align with your need for intimacy? Can you support his pursuits while also ensuring your needs are met? Yeah, this is just exactly in line with everything I've been saying, like meeting one another's needs, communicating what those needs are, communicating when your battery's low, or when those needs aren't being met, or how you can both maybe make small adjustments and just care for each other. And I have these glass hearts, and I keep looking over at these the whole time I've been talking. This is a reminder to be fragile, to be careful. Our hearts are fragile. Like, we're just two little kids in adult bodies trying to get our needs met emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. Yes, you are ultimately responsible for meeting your needs, but when you come into partnership with another, you get to lighten the load for one another and be a source of strength for the other, and protection and peace and love and respect, everything. Okay, I'm just gonna put these here. And I'm gonna make sure the camera's still going. Oh yeah, whoa, we're at 48. I said 48 when I looked. That's crazy. Oh, and then we have this golden retriever. So maybe this person is also very loyal, determined. Yeah, I'm sure maybe they get lost. Nobody's perfect. Maybe they get lost in pursuing the big things, and the little details get lost, but they're loyal to a fault. So if you've ever had we used to have a golden retriever. If you had a golden retriever, these dogs are so loving and cuddly and snuggly. Maybe they're a good snuggler. Maybe you're a good cuddler. Maybe that's something you both enjoy, is physical touch, physical intimacy, maybe your love language. Yeah, this could be highlighting a trait of your partner. But it says old soul, the sage, true-hearted, loving, serene, guardian. For all my healers out there, I really believe that healers and protectors are like peas and carrots. They go together. I'm not saying it's all the burden of one person to be the healer or the protector, but it's just, yeah. Anyway. And again, the girl who was in a violent, abusive marriage for 10 years, you know, like, who am I? But I guess I've read a lot of self-help books on relationships. Yeah, I'm qualified. At least I've lived through what I don't want, and I've been so devalued, like down to like less than dirt. And even more recently, so devalued, like when someone doesn't see your value, it forces you to see your own value. And I'm like, what? They don't see how awesome I am? What the fuck? I'm amazing. You're lost, buddy. Deuces. So it's like, that's been like a big lesson for me in my life, is to see my own value and my own worth as a human being, as a friend, as a lover, as a potential partner, you know, like seeing your own value. That's a tough one, but that's been probably my life's, I think my friend does astrology. I think she said that was my soul's mission or my north node. I don't know astrology at all. Something about like your north and south nodes. My like thing was self-love and learning my value and worth. So, but nothing shows you your value more than someone not valuing you, because you're like, wait a minute, something's not right here. And for me personally, I just need to match investment for investment. I'm in such I just want to love, you know, I'm a lover girl, but, and that's something I'm learning, you know, you just to guard my heart better and not shut it down, but just, I don't need to talk about myself, but, yeah, wait for someone who sees value in me, you know, rather than having to try to convince someone to know my worth or see my value. I'm just sharing my own personal, hopefully someone can if this resonates with you, please tell me in the comments, because I feel stupid sometimes, like talking and posting these things and wondering if anyone gains any benefit from me blabbing on the internet. But this is the sage. Not only is this person loyal, but they are an old soul and they have endless wisdom to offer the world, to you, for themselves, to anyone that comes in contact with them. Guardian, true-hearted, loving. I love that. I love that. Oh, this rhymes with like lovebirds. Oh, and this has the number 45, which reduces to 9, completion. We are completing out a 9-year completion. So any icky attachments that you know are not healthy for you, now is the time to forgive and release. There doesn't have to be any animosity, just I forgive you, I release you. And just as many times as you need to repeat that. 12, or the number 3. And it's the birds. Excitement, anxious, chatter, ideas, overwhelming. I feel like I overwhelm people because I am so much like like right off the bat, right out of the gate. But yeah. And yeah, I feel like when your nervous system's regulated, this really evens out all the chatter, all the, you know, anxiety or needing to like fill the void or the empty space or the silence, you know. When you feel safe, then your true self feels safe to just, you know, just be and not feel like you need to overcompensate or overshare or whatever it is that you think you need to fix about yourself, which you don't need to fix anything, but there is a difference when you feel safe and regulated, how you show up and how you express yourself. We have man, dealings or relationship with a man. This is totally we're in the relationship chunk of this oracle reading. Look, we still have a whole big pile of cards. These are not romance cards. We already got through the romantic stuff. But yeah, dealings or relationship with a man. So definitely there's a heavy theme here on romantic partnership. Teardrops, great personal sorrow. Okay, maybe a partnership has caused great personal sorrow, and I definitely know this. I know this. I think we all know the pain of heartbreak or feeling rejected or ghosted or unimportant or not chosen or not loved or not seen, not valued. All of that. It's painful, and there is really no solution to that other than to just heal it. And tears are, I wish I could express to you oh, I should have, like, I need to like learn how to like share things, knowledge, little bits that I've gleaned from like, you know, reading online. And I like to follow a lot of like quantum stuff, but like tears are fucking magical. And whenever I start crying, whenever I cry, if it's not in front of someone, at least, like, I try not to cry in front of people, but when I cry, I just let myself, and then I say thank you. And I try to like use those tears as a way to transmute the pain into gratitude and believe that they're magic. Something about it's doing something. And I can't remember. There was this guy, Samuel something, on Instagram. He goes into detail about the alchemy behind energetically, I don't know, all the stuff with tears and how amazing and incredible they are. So allow yourself to cry, allow yourself release, even the basic knowledge of like, don't hold it in, don't suppress your feelings, your emotions. If you have to go alone and hide, cry, then go somewhere, find a private space and allow yourself to break. Oh, I'm thinking of that Keith Urban song. Break on me, shatter like glass, fall apart at the seams. Mm-hmm. Break on me. I don't know if I'm singing it right, but oh, now I want to sing it. Break on me. Not everybody has somebody to break on. You know, you don't. I raised my kids their whole lives, and I can't tell you how many times I was on the floor, fetal position, crying hard in the middle of the night because my problems with, you know, my oldest child was my most difficult one. I love him, but he was, and thank God he had a strong mind and a strong will, because he's not someone who falls for the bullshit narratives of this world. You know, he's such an open, free spirit, free mind, free thinker. And I love that about him. But that personality, raising them like as a teenager or as a young boy without a dad who, you know, there was a lot of anger, and it was hard. And I didn't have a support person to go to break on or cry to. And I just had to hold myself many, many nights as I just allowed myself to just fall apart. So sometimes you're the only person that you can go to when you need to hold space for your emotions, for your tears. And I can hear it. And I'm like heavy, like I have this heaviness right now. I don't know why. It's okay. Emotions aren't the enemy. So sometimes, speaking to you single people, single parents, single people, or whoever, like, or even if you are partnered up and you don't feel safe to go to your partner with emotions, like, it's okay if you're the only one who can hold space for what you feel. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is you need to feel. We have Owl. Good advice from a wise person. Okay. Lion, time to act. And we actually saw this in part 1 of the Oracle readings. There's something about some kind of, yeah, there it is. There was some kind of tower moment in someone's home, family, breakup, divorce, actually, is what I was getting from that. And life can be beautiful again. This says life's a gas. And this pumping up, to pump that balloon up, you have to do the work. And these little hand pumps are exhausting. But, and then so these cards all came out together, and it's time to take action. Oh, there was a lion. The whole point of that. Here's the lion. It's like, yeah, no reason not to try. Like, no wasted day. I can do anything with my life. Like, you're not resigned to living a miserable life in an unhealthy connection. Kids or no kids, or whatever reasons you have. Fill your own cup, choose yourself, and see where life takes you from there. You're not responsible for anyone else's emotions, just your own. It's time to take action. It's time to act. Or someone could be a Leo. Table, hard work ahead. Yeah, it's not easy, but my journey wasn't easy, but I wouldn't change a thing. I wish I would have left sooner. My kids were fairly young, but I wish I would have done it when they were even younger, so less trauma inflicted, you know, like being in the environment. I did a really good job, though, I will say, of creating a loving, like, it was only my little safe bubble of home and peace, and I homeschooled, and I was part of a homeschool co-op, and we'd go on science nature walks and art classes. And then my firstborn, my oldest son, my ex-husband wouldn't pay for private school, so I went to the school board and volunteered. I said I would love for my child to be, a part of this family here at the school. It was a private Christian school. It was really expensive, and I said I can offer. Anyway. So I cleaned bathrooms, I taught PE, and I was an art teacher for first and second graders. And the teenagers, the girls, would always come to the bathroom after school, because that's when I was like janitor, and I was like the bathroom therapist. And these teenage girls would cry to me about their boy problems, their life problems, their home life, and I would pray with them and laugh with them and talk with them. And yeah, so like, what was the point of me sharing that? I don't know what I was saying, but hard work ahead. I wouldn't change a thing. Like, I guess my only regret would be not I wish, when people ask me if I regret anything, it would be, I wish I would have called the police the night the bullets were flying over my head. Like, literally, I don't know how. It had to be divine protection, because there's 2 walls. Like, I wish I could draw you. Anyway, here's the bathroom door. There's a wall here and a wall. Okay, wall here, door here. And I'm standing there holding the door. And the bullet came right at head level, ear level, in this wall and out, diagonally out that wall. Went through 4 walls and ended in the side wall, or the siding of our house. And so basically the bullet flew past my head, or it like curved over my head. It doesn't make sense. When I measured, it just didn't make sense. So I believe I was totally protected by an angel or something. Something supernatural protected me that night. And then a few weeks later, I was giving birth to our son. And my husband and his mom and sisters were in the bar across the street getting drunk while I was giving birth to our baby. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But he was going to name him Junior, like after himself. Like, I won't say his first name, but my ex-husband's first name, and then Junior. And so while they were out drinking at the bar, while I'm in the hospital with our newborn, I signed the paperwork and I named him myself. But they were just, his mom and him were trying to name the baby, and they were going back and forth between so-and-so Junior or Colton. And I didn't know. I waited till I gave birth to find out what I was having, a boy or girl. And I didn't have any boy names picked out, because I was so dead set that I was having a girl. So I didn't have any names prepared. So I just went with I was like, hell no, over my dead body will this baby be named after that man. And I was 26 at the time. It was my 3rd baby. And the hospital staff did not want to tie my tubes. And they said, we don't typically do this on such a young. And then I shared with them my domestic violence, like the history of my marriage. And they were like, okay, we're not going to allow no more babies for this one. And I woke up from surgery and cried. They're like, honey, you're all done. And I cried and cried and cried, because it meant no more babies. And I loved having babies, but not in an abusive marriage. So that was my last baby. And he was born 9 days late. Get this, you guys, for numerology people. He was due September 9th, 2018. So that's like 3 9s, 999. 2018. No, 2008. I'm sorry. 2008. That is not a 9. It's a 10. Anyway, he was due 9/9, but he was 9 days late and came out on 9/18. So that's a lot of 9s. And on top of it, him being so late being born, he was born on the 4-year anniversary of my brother's death. So I named him Jeremiah as a middle name in honor of my brother Jeremiah. So that was really special and redeemed, because every year in September I would just be like in bed crying, like grieving my brother, who died suddenly at 31, just dropped dead of an enlarged heart. Well, died in his sleep of an enlarged heart. But his toes were still painted, because he had 3 daughters, and they had painted his toenails before they went on his girlfriend went on vacation to Mexico, and their first night on vacation, he died in his sleep. And the girls were 7, 8, and 9. So she had 2 girls who were 7 and 9 years old, and his daughter was 8 years old. But they were all his girls. But it was so sad, so sad. But anyway, my brother was amazing. He was like, everybody loved him. He was voted like best bartender 5 years in a row. He'd have like poker nights with senators and politicians in our town, and he was going to college for political science. real charismatic guy, real loving, no bullshit, just truth, authentic. Black sheep of the family. He and I were both the black sheep out of 6 kids. But he was my like only ally in my family, like my friend, because the rest of my family was very like religious and image and how things look and PhDs and preppy, you know, those kinds of people. Anyway, I don't want to badmouth my family, but let's keep going. Dog, far away, a distant friend is thinking of you. Maybe this man, maybe if somebody has a long distance friend or love interest, because this is like loyal. Dogs represent loyalty. And we have this old soul, the loyalty card here. There could be a long distance. A distant friend is thinking of you. Chain of events that will affect your life. Ooh, this makes me think of some kind of world event, some kind of crisis or something that might happen. Or not. Chain of event. Seahorse, guys, look at that. Family matters. We have the other seahorse. We only had 1 earlier. Now we have 2. There's 2 seahorses now. Yay, we have a little pair. We have a little couple. You're not alone. Where's that commitment and marriage card? You found your person. You can do life together. Pig, beware of greed. Spear, heartache over what you no longer have. Okay, if this is heartbreak over separation or someone that you thought was your person and isn't or isn't choosing you, let them go. You don't ever want to beg or try to have to, like, you should never feel like you need to convince anyone of your worth or your value. Never, ever, ever. And even if you feel like they're your soulmate or your twin flame or your whatever connection that it just feels, even if it feels like it was destined, if they're not choosing you, because I get it. I really do. I understand like the whole 5D telepathic connections energy, feeling somebody's energy and quantum entanglement. But if they're not choosing you in this reality, in this world that you're living and breathing in, you're literally wasting away an opportunity to love yourself, to love others. Like it's handicapping you, and you're not free if you're just pining over, like, I mean, let yourself cry and let yourself feel and let yourself hurt and heal, but heal. Don't allow yourself to stay stuck in grief and just bleed out, because then what good is that doing for anybody, much less yourself? You want to operate from a place of wholeness and be light for others. And we have Gong, an exciting event, which might be that proposal we saw, or that commitment and that date night. Magic. Ooh, these cards crack me up. There's like fairy godmother cards. They always have a little poem in the beginning. Does it have a number? No number. Okay, let's read about this. There's a little poem. I'll read it. Once upon another time, entranced you skipped and sang in rhyme, enchanting days of long ago, times now troubled, full of woe. Mystic bliss was lost, so tragic. A spell now doth restore your magic. Oh, so somebody crying over heartbreak, maybe this exciting event with the seahorse showing up, maybe it's reunion energy. Did you hear that? Once upon in a different time, there was like, you sang and skipped. It's like being alive and in love, like the beginnings of love. And then times now troubled, full of woe. Magic, bliss lost. Now it says a spell does restore your magic. I'm not saying do spell work. Please don't ever do spell work shit like that. Don't fuck with that stuff. Just be your own source of light and love. You don't have to outsource your power to spells or whatever. I mean, I guess to each his own, but I wouldn't dabble in that stuff. Fairy godmother's message to you. Do you remember when the world seemed so magical? Walking through an enchanted forest, playing dress up and make-believe, waiting for Father Christmas? Sadly, that wonderful mystical feeling has waned as you face responsibility and challenges along the way. What once brought you joy has dimmed, and a veil of cynicism now cloaks your senses. But what an adventure it's been. Some of it spellbinding, some of it tough, but always endured by you, with a sense of knowing that you have to push through no matter what the cost. Right? I've said this before. You have two choices in life, no matter what you're going through, to endure or not endure. And the second is not an option. There's no giving up. There's no, that's just, we don't go there. You endure it and you get through it, and it's painful and it sucks and it's shitty and you lose people you love. But I promise you, you'll get through it. You'll get through it, and new people will enter your life that will bring just as much, if not more, joy than the people that you've lost. Or if it's in scenarios where you literally lose a loved one, like my brother. I like to explain it like his daughter was 8, and I was like, it's, he's here, he's still here energetically, but it's like he stepped into another room. Like he got up and walked over and went to, the kitchen, like it was a closed kitchen. I'm like, you can't see him, but he's on the other side of that door. He's still there. This life is not the end. Like, death is not the end. It's such a lie. Death is such a fucking lie. Energy cannot be destroyed, right? Matter can't be destroyed. It just changes form. So if you've lost a loved one, if you're grieving the loss of a loved one, there's still, you can talk to them right now. You can literally talk to them right here, right now. Their energy is with you. Their energy is all around you. It's this is not real. I mean, it's real, but it's not the spirit realm, the spiritual realm, the energetic, like energy is more real than this manifestation of it that we have in front of us. So if you're grieving the loss of a loved one, or if it's simply like heartbreak over losing someone you thought would always be in your life, I get it, feel it, but you will be happy again. You will feel joyful again. Let me find my spot, sorry. You have to push through no matter what the cost. Well, you've done it, and I'm here to present you with your prize. Allow me to wave my magic wand and summon droplets of pure magic to shower over you. Awaken, sweet one, and tap into the magic that is all around you. If you will but listen and learn. See once more through the eyes of a child with joy, wonder, and awe. As your spiritual sight opens at the hint of my touch, you will discover a hidden world long forgotten. Time to reestablish your connection and step into the mystery that beckons you, for you cannot resist. As a new magical energy surrounds you, grab your dreams and reach for the stars. The universe is poised to support you as it reflects your thoughts and intentions. Rejoice at the magic you have uncovered. Delight in the wonder of who you are and step into a fairy ring. Search for pixies, swim with the merfolk, and pat a unicorn. Magic is everywhere and in everything. Go discover it. Enjoy every precious moment, knowing and appreciating that you are totally blessed and will continue to be so as you add your own magical touch. Oh, yeah, this magic is all around us. And it just speaks to like how our thoughts and intentions and emotions literally create the reality in front of you. And we have dog. Again with the dogs. We've had so many dog cards about loyalty. This is what I'm saying about like, break on me, shatter like glass, fall apart at the seams. I'm probably not singing it right. But even if you don't have a support system, I went my whole life with no support system. Even if you don't have a support system, be your own support system. That's not true. I've had friends. I've had people. Okay, I take that last comment back. I've had a support, but not like consistent support, I think. But be your own support system is what this says. Be your own best friend. Sorry, be your own best friend. Another image of a dog. Doesn't that look like a portal? And that looks like a lion kind of back there. Like, summon your own strength. That's what I want to say. Summon your own strength. I'm going to read about this card. Is this a dream? Oh, here we go. Dog. And again, dogs represent loyalty. My voice cracked. Excuse me. All right. You may have become overly domesticated, trying to obey everyone's commands, but you're no one's lapdog. Your loyalty is a gift that is given to only those who are worthy of your devotion. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You are nobody's lapdog, number one. Your loyalty is a gift that is given to only those who are worthy of your devotion. Bypass your logic and book smarts and follow your instincts. Sniff your way through the situation you're in to find your way. You may find that you have to dig your way out, play dead, roll over, or even bare your teeth. Your natural instinctual gifts, and yes, your sense of smell, will see you through. Yeah, sometimes you got to be strategic. When I left my husband, you know what I literally like hugged him goodbye like it was a normal day of him going to work. And I had a U-Haul waiting around the corner. Packed up my kids' things into the little U-Haul. And we honked that horn and waved to our neighbors. They were all out on their yards waving. They all knew that it was bad for us. Like, one neighbor called him the warden because he would like take my car keys and go to work. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about my marriage. Maybe somebody needs to hear the marriage talk, but I had to be strategic. That was the point. Like, I couldn't just say, I'm leaving you, because he'd probably murder. He would have killed me, you know? Like, I had to be the women who leave. This was 20 years ago, or not 20 years ago. Yeah. No. Okay, 13 years ago I left. But like 13 years ago, the statistic at the time was 75% of women who leave abusive husbands or abusive men. And it was women to men. It was that exact statistic. At least there may be different statistics for different genders, but 75% of women who left an abusive man were murdered. Like, they hunted them down and killed them. Like, literally. I had a legal aid lawyer whose sister was shot and killed when she tried to leave her partner. But yeah, so and the Women's Crisis Shelter too, their policy was an undisclosed, their house that they put us in. And it was like a room full of bunk beds with strangers. But we started a little Bible study and like kind of made like a team environment there with the other moms and the kids. And at one point, because some people will lie about being abused just to have a roof over their head, you know, and to get into like somewhere to live and have food. And one lady there was not healthy, not a domestic violence victim, and she sneaked her boyfriend into the shelter for women and kids. And I loaded that night, like, he was like scary tweaker type crackhead guy. And all these moms and kids, like, I don't even know how many. It was too many I don't know how we fit in my car, but we all loaded into my Volvo XC90, a big SUV with like third row, you know, like into the trunk. And we all crammed into my car and drove like down the street to like a supermarket and called the police. And it was a whole, it was so funny, like packing everybody in, because this lady had sneaked her boyfriend into our safe place to heal. Like, that was supposed to be a safe place for victims, like real victims, to heal. But anyway, be your own best friend. Oh, the whole point. Sometimes you got to be strategic. That's all I'm saying. Do whatever you got to do to put yourself first. You don't owe like anyone anything. It's your life. You have this one life. Gather your courage and do what you need to do for you. And whatever that looks like. I can't tell you what that looks like. Meaning, domesticated wildness. Dreams of a dog typically symbolize unconditional love, loyalty, fidelity, a best friend, and the wild, protective nature that marks its territory, keeping threatening energy on the other side of the fence. If the dog in your dream is angry or vicious, it may represent a disowned part of your nature that is demanding attention and food. It also may represent your need for protection and boundaries. Dreams of a gentle dog mean that you are connecting to your innocent vulnerability and sense of true companionship. And here's your mantra. I pat myself on the back for expressing my instincts for love and loyalty. I pat myself on the back for expressing my instincts for love and loyalty. Speak up for yourself, you know? Some people shrink or quiet themselves just to keep the peace, and you're abandoning yourself. Then we have money. Discover the source of your true power. Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world. Discover the source of your true power. Okay, most humans, this includes you, forget that they are trust fund babies. You are a treasure beyond measure that comes from an unlimited source of love, abundance, creativity, and wisdom. Regardless of what your temporary financial circumstances may appear to be, your true essence is literally dripping with wealth. King, Queen Midas, eat your golden heart out. It's time for you to cash in on your inheritance and start accessing the I don't know. Yeah. Accessing the abundance that is your birthright. Rewire your thinking to align with your personal vein of gold and realize that you are abundantly provided for in ways that are both seen and unseen. With this point of view, it's just a matter of time before your outer circumstances match your inner reality. And I'll say this, I know love and abundance are on the same radio channel, the same frequency, so those usually go hand in hand. And if you just believe it already energetically, for my singles out there, there's a worship song called Jireh. I love it because to me it's an affirmation that I'm already loved. I'm already loved. I'm already chosen. I'm more than enough. So I always sing that to just remind myself, I'm already loved. I'm already chosen. I don't need another human to choose me or love me. I'm loved. I'm chosen. I'm enough. I'm abundant. Blessings upon blessings upon blessings upon blessings flow through me, in and through me. Like everyone I come in contact with, I try to leave an energetic imprint of positivity or encouragement or something. Like, I guess not always. Sometimes I get mad when I'm driving at stupid drivers, but but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we're all walking conduits of the divine. We all have source running through our energetic field, you know, like, I wish people knew how powerful we were, you know? Again, identity. Everything boils down to knowing who you are, knowing your identity. But back to this money card, meaning security. Money dreams. So maybe loyalty. What was the dog? I don't remember what the dog meant already. I forgot. But the money in your dreams means security. Oh, the dog means domesticated wildness. Okay. Money dreams symbolize issues of energy, power, survival, security, and resourcefulness. Even if you are Paris Hilton, which I'm betting my bottom dollar you're not, don't worry, neither am I. Money is an issue you have to deal with in a very real way in your life, whether you're awake or asleep. How the money is being used in the dream will indicate what you value and the specific financial power issues that are being worked out. And here's your mantra. I am a generous giver and receiver of the unlimited abundance that is flowing to and through me. I just said that. Blessings flow through and to and through me. That's actually, I have that on an alarm on my phone, and it's unkink the hose. The hose is unkinked, you know, like think of a water hose connected to source, and the water's not coming out of the hose, the garden hose, because there's a kink in the hose. It's unkinked. The hose is unkinked. Blessings upon blessings upon blessings flow in and through me. That's my mantra personally. But here's the one in the book. I'm a generous giver and receiver. I am a generous giver and receiver of the unlimited abundance that is flowing to and through me. Beautiful. And then we have a home. We have a little cabin in the woods. Oh, I love that. The clouds, confusion, doubt, insecurity, misgiving, lost. I'm actually feeling like this is separate from this pile. I'm going to leave it off to the side. We still have a whole stack, and I think I'm going to make a part 3 because this has gotten really long, and this slid out with a pile. Well, this is going to go with the domesticated wildness because somebody needs to learn to use their voice, to summon their power, and to speak up about their desires, you know? Say no. Say no. And I'm just being drawn to the waves of like emotional equilibrium. No more stuffing, no more suppressing. Open that throat chakra, speak, communicate your needs, wants, desires, and put yourself first, you know? Show up for you. And when you show up for you, everything else falls into alignment from there. And it starts energetically. Okay, this is so long. Thank you if you made it with, this far with me. I love you. And please, I don't even care about the algorithm, but just for my own sanity, drop me a comment or hit the like button so I don't feel stupid for just sharing my life stories out there. I mean, I do feel stupid, but I know somebody, even if there's no reflection of it in the likes or comments, I know people benefit from it, or the right people will find and feel encouraged. So hopefully you felt encouraged by this offering of messages and stories and guidance and opinions, however unpopular mine may be. I was going to say, when they said even Paris Hilton has money problems. No, she doesn't. The freaking celebrities and elite bloodlines of the world, they print the money. It's all a scam. It's all a fraud. So don't buy into that bullshit. But do get yourself some gold and silver and XRP if you can. XRP is a token for Ripple, which is like crypto. That's my financial advice for y'all. Okay, all right. Mwah, mwah. I'm going to take a break, but I'll be back to record part 3 in a little bit. I love you, and thank you for being here with me and just listening, I guess, and hearing my heart. All right.